digital trap when money becomes permission. 1. Money is turning into code. As the world enters the digital age, money, once paper, metal, freedom, is slowly becoming code. And when money is nothing but code, the real question is no longer, is it convenient? The real question becomes, who writes the rules of that code? Who can edit it, freeze it, turn it off? They call it progress, efficiency, the future. But if you look deeper, you will see another word forming in the shadows, the digital trap. 2. The shocking reality. 91% of central banks are working on CBDCs. This is no longer theory. According to the BiS survey in 2024, 91% of central banks reported that they are exploring CBDCs, researching, developing, testing, or preparing to deploy, which means nearly the entire global monetary system is moving in the same direction. And the most frightening part is not whether CBDCs will exist, it is this. Once they become the standard, you will no longer have an exit. 3. What is CBDC? When money is no longer physical. CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. On paper, it is described as state-backed digital money. They say it is safe, transparent, anti-counterfeit, anti-money laundering. But its true nature is something else. Cash in your hand requires no permission. CBDC exists inside a system, with doors, locks, access rights, permissions. You no longer own money. You are merely allowed to use it under conditions defined by the system. And this is an extremely dangerous shift, from ownership to permission. 4. Real-world proof. It is already happening. People like to say, that's a distant future. No. The Bahamas launched the sand dollar in October 2020. Nigeria introduced a naira in October 2021. Jamaica deployed Jamdex in 2022. Independent trackers like the Atlantic Council show dozens of pilot programs and hundreds of countries actively researching. Which means, the machine is already running. It is not being assembled. 5. The brain behind the system, BiS and the Innovation Hub. So the real question becomes, who coordinates all of this? At the technological layer, one name keeps appearing, BiS Innovation Hub, established in 2019. Officially, it is described as an innovation lab. In reality, it is where components are tested, standardized, and quietly exported to the global system. Project mBridge, Project Helvetia, Project Icebreaker. You don't need to remember the names. You only need to understand this. Once BiS stamps a technical standard, it tends to become the system's common language. And when the language is unified, power shifts away from national borders toward a centralized coordinator. 6. mBridge. Cross-border CBDC has reached MVP. Project mBridge is the clearest example. BiS announced that mBridge reached minimum viable product status in 2024, meaning it already functions as a foundational platform. Participants include Hong Kong, Thailand, UAE, China, with Saudi Arabia joining in 2024. Reuters later reported that BiS announced its withdrawal from the project at the end of 2024, claiming the system was mature enough for central banks to continue independently. Does this tactic sound familiar? When things are sensitive, they step forward to push it. Once it runs smoothly, they step back and let it become normal. 7. Programmable money. When money comes with rules. This is where it becomes chilling. BiS has openly discussed programmable monetary policy, including examples such as money with expiration dates, money usable only for approved purposes. Even the most reassuring institutions admit the boundary. In technical documents on the digital pound, the Bank of England states it does not intend to impose spending restrictions, yet acknowledges that wallet providers could implement programmable features with user consent. In simple terms, they reassure you about intentions, but admit the capability. And history shows us this. Power does not need to announce itself. It only needs the system to allow it. 8. The psychological path into the trap. The script is always the same. First, just a pilot. Then, only for businesses. Then, only for cross-border transactions. Then, only to fight fraud. Finally, every citizen needs a national digital wallet for safety. And once you adapt, cash is not banned outright. It is simply made inconvenient, marginalized, removed from the system. You are not forced. You are just pushed until there is no alternative. 9. The denial protocol. When people fear surveillance, reassuring statements appear. It will not replace cash. It will not track citizens. It's just technology. But watch actions, not words. They never stop. They only change language, change labels, change packaging, and continue forward in silence. That is the denial protocol. Denial is not meant to stop resistance, but to keep momentum smooth. 10. The horror scenario. When money is tied to identity. Now we reach the real nightmare. In a CBDC world, every transaction is tied to identity. Every purchase leaves a trace. Every habit becomes data, and when data becomes dense enough, they no longer need cameras to monitor you. They simply read your wallet. They know who you are, what you believe, where you go, which side you stand on. And one day, you try to pay, and the system replies, "Transaction denied." Not because you are poor, but because you no longer qualify. 11. The next layer, social credit. Now add one more layer, CBDC integrated with behavioral scoring. Your spending limited by trust level. Your access reduced by risk profile. Your transactions disabled by policy. And the cruelest part? No violence is required, only a disable button. In such a society, freedom is no longer a birthright. It becomes a privilege, switched on or off inside a system. 12. Conclusion. When freedom becomes conditional. When you hear them say, "This technology is for the benefit of humanity," remember this: technology is never neutral. It always serves those who control it. BiS created the Bank of Banks, and now, the world is entering a new phase, where money is no longer something you own, but something you are allowed to use. If you think this has nothing to do with me, that thought itself is how the system works best. Because this is not a macro story. This is the story of every meal, every bill, every swipe of your card, every moment you believe you are living normally. In the world ahead, a button can erase you from the economy without a prison. A line of code can dissolve your money if you don't spend it the right way, at the right time, in the right rhythm. And an invisible scoring system can decide how far you go, where you live, and how much life you are allowed. No violence, no force, only conditions. When money becomes code, freedom does not disappear. It is simply renamed into a permission, and that is where this story does not end.